Hey, it's Rick here, and welcome back to Humaning, a podcast where we explore the imperfect art of being a human. This week, we have something a little bit different. Jo and I were going to record a podcast on Monday, and then she didn't want to, which we'll explain in the podcast. But what we did do today was she interviewed me, and it was kind of a reflection of our year and what topped up and what have been the gifts and even who's on our Christmas card list. So we've just wrapped up the conversation. I really enjoyed it. There's a lot in there, and I look forward to you taking a listen. And we're live. Joanne Dobson, welcome to the podcast.
From the other couch.
Yes.
Thanks.
We have a, what do they call it? An outdoor broadcast? An OB?
Yeah, it's because the end of the year celebration. It's like reunion version.
The reunion version. We're actually sitting in our lounge room with our bifolds open. That's about as outdoor as we get.
Yeah, but it's pretty beautiful and happy to not be in Melbourne.
Yeah. So we've got something different today, haven't we?
We do. Because I got a bit stroppy.
This is a couple of days late.
Yeah, a couple of days
In fact,
late.
it's actually, this is a week late. Sorry, people.
I think it was only yesterday you wanted to do a podcast with me.
Monday,
was it?
Today's Wednesday, we're recording this.
And let's be honest, I said yes, and my body said no. And my body wins.
Yeah, it does. And the idea, because to be honest, like I've hit the energy wall a little bit this year now after being at residential last week. I'm like, I haven't got any podcast planned for the rest of the year or in January or anything. I'm like unorganized. I'm like, do you want to do a podcast where we ask each other questions about the year? And you said yes.
And I meant no.
And you meant no. And then when it came to it, your body spoke up.
Yeah, I found myself, well, you had been away for a week for therapy camp, and I had kind of got a bit of power back in the house and doing my own thing and having my plans, and I kind of had my own little flow. And then as it was time to go into the podcast studio, I was like trying to make my sourdough starter, and I'm like, I didn't really want to do this. I want to do my own thing. And you hadn't shared the questions till right beforehand, and then I'm like, no, I'm out. And that was primarily because we hadn't recapped our year together.
Yeah.
And it's too sacred. Like, I think, like, sharing is one thing, but we love sharing. We hadn't had a good conversation for a week because you'd been away.
Yeah.
We had like family stuff and friend stuff, and so in the end we ended up doing it on the deck, just us, and you guys didn't get to listen, and it was great.
Yeah.
And the next layer of truth is that it was a really bloody hard year, and I don't think that's fun to listen to on a podcast. I want to be the inspiring, chirpy one.
Yeah.
And I was like, this was a very hard year, and I couldn't really pick up. I couldn't pretend. So in the end, I said, I will just interview you.
And here we
are.
And
here we are. And welcome, Rick.
Thanks, Joanne.
Would you like to check in? Let me know how you're feeling.
Use my shit against me?
Yep.
Well, I'm physically super comfy because we're in our big cuddle couch and looking outside. There's a nice breeze. I don't have any human interaction other than taking my son for a driving lesson this afternoon. So it feels a bit spacious today. Body's feeling good.
Sleep score 96.
Sleep score 90.
Yeah.
Yeah, so woke up with a full body battery. And actually feel like that. I feel like I've got energy, and so that's nice to have. I think I've had like 4 nights of solid sleep since I got back. And I feel partially you're taking responsibility for that.
Yeah. If you saw my face now, I'm kind of squinting my eyes and giving him a little bit of we used to call it a greasy, because, Rocky got up 3 times last night and Rick didn't hear that.
Because I
So
was in a 90 body battery sleep
yes,
score.
I'm really glad you had a
Which
woke up grumpy.
and then mentally feeling pretty clear. Definitely slowing down at the end of the year now. Just had a week away at therapy camp, so really enjoyed that. That may or may not come up in this podcast, and then emotionally feeling, what am I feeling? Just feeling calm. Yeah. What I'm noticing is the absence of needing to keep pushing at this time of year, and I'm pretty stoked that that's not there, and not in a I can't be fucked kind of way, just in like we've done enough. So it's probably more of what's not there emotionally than what is. The anxiety of like, fuck, we need to do more, we need to like have more for the holidays, all that stuff. But it's just not there right now.
And I think that's our plan for the rest of the year, isn't it? We couldn't, little example, we couldn't find Christmas pajamas that we all liked. And I'm like, maybe we don't need to get them. Maybe just use last year's, because we only bring them out every now and then. That whole, like, we don't have to push. We can have ideas and not follow through and still be okay.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, in different degrees in both our work, like, things are coming to us without pushing.
Yeah.
So
it's ironic.
Yeah.
Damn it.
So that's kind of me. What about you?
Well, I've got this little dog that wakes me up a few times through the night. I had to listen to had my headphones in through the night. So I'm a bit grumpy today with sleep deprivation.
Yep.
But I still have joy when I wake up grumpy and I look at your watch and you have all this energy, because I know that when you're up, then I get to benefit from that. I think when we're both down or we both had bad sleep or go through a hard time, we're both manifesting generators. So we bounce off each other. So I'm using your 96 body battery today. So I feel good. I saw some awesome clients today, and I love my work is really different. So I love it being different to whoever I see. And that was it today, like a family with rowdy kids and also, a really beautiful, intelligent woman that's just shifting some patterns. So that was fun. So yeah, today I feel good. I feel like the year's coming to an end, so I don't have to have the answers. Don't agree, but it's true. It's like, oh, it's okay. We got there.
Yeah.
Away for a week, Melbourne for a few days, and then we get to have a bit of a break. Yeah.
Cool.
So the big questions you were asking me were basically too big to share with everybody when I just wanted to have a full moon meltdown. But I thought I would ask you some questions. The one that came to me just as we sat down, and I don't know if I'm good at just asking the questions because I like to butt in, so a bit different to you. You're a really good listener, and I'm a good chatter. We sat down, I think when I got back from being away, doing that locum, was away for a couple of months. We sat down and I said, if you were to write Christmas cards this year, who would you write Christmas cards to? Remember years ago, I know our families used to write and give everyone an update, and they used to send a picture, and sometimes my mum would type out a letter.
Yep.
And then when I would buy a pack of 10, I'm like, oh, who are the 10 people? Like, no one expected a Christmas card because we're not sending them. But we were like, oh, if you could pick a couple of people, who would you write a Christmas card to? So I'm going to ask you that question, like, who's on your Christmas card list that will never get a Christmas card, but who would you love to send a Christmas card to and why?
Am I like shouting out people here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're missing out, it doesn't mean whatever. You'll be fine.
Shit, you put me on the spot.
Yeah. How does that feel in your heart?
Well, this is a strange question because I've never written anyone a Christmas card.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ever?
Oh, probably maybe once or twice, but
Mm.
yeah, it wasn't really a tradition in our family. I think Mum might have done it early days. Well, there's probably like the stock answer of like the close family and friends, like the obligatory.
Yeah, but we don't want obligation.
Mm. Well, there's been some people this year that have touched me, and not in an inappropriate way, just in a
My job.
emotional way. And probably the person on top of that list is John from our study. We've just become really good mates, and he's had some challenges this year, and he's always been there for me when I've had challenges. And yeah, he'd probably be up there. And obviously, you might sneak in.
I would love a card.
But I actually feel a bit. I feel like I could write a list of 50 pretty easily,
Yeah.
and not because I've got lots of mates, but just more I feel like there's a lot of humans this year that I've actually had a pretty solid connection to. You know, easily the people that came on this podcast as a starting point. And it's not that I follow up and have interactions with all those people all the time, but just sharing that experience of a good conversation.
Yeah, because I think that was the whole point of like who touched your life, who really was, just a little significant is big significance in this life. Like it doesn't have to be a major thing. And when I was away, I was in a rural town, and there was one, I think this is where it started. There was one coffee shop that I would go to for most of my lunches.
Yep.
And they began to know who I was, what I ordered, and they would ask me, I conversed, and like I'm in a country town for 2 months. And they're the sort of people that years ago you'd be like, oh, thanks for looking after me for those months. Like if I had got a flat battery, I would have gone there and they would have,
You just keep going, but you just
and so
reminded me of something.
That's when I was sitting there because all the Christmas stuff was out in the shop. I'm like, it did cross my mind, maybe I should get some maybe I should write a card to say, hey, thanks for looking after me while I was in town because you were my safe place.
Yeah.
And I don't think we do that enough. We get all these text messages on, I get text messages on your birthday of people that don't really talk to you in your year. It doesn't feel as authentic.
It's the appreciation thing, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's
the unconditional appreciation.
We told John about his Christmas card when we were having coffee with him, but it was still nice, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it made me think when you were talking then, like I had a memory of being back in Hayfield and Dad was he was in the cattle industry, he did real estate, he told me when I was a kid that he knew everyone from Hayfield to Melbourne, and I believed him. So my dad. And he would buy like, I don't know how many, maybe 20 or 30 Christmas hams, and he would hand deliver these Christmas hams to all the key people in his life, and mostly around business.
Yeah.
And he would stop and he'd probably have a couple of beers with them and say thank you for like everything they've done for him this year.
Yeah, and it wasn't putting it on Instagram so everyone could take a photo of the package that you got sent.
It's just like, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Appreciate what you've done for me this year, and the work we've done together or whatever it was. And I remember trailing around with him like in the car, going, well, we've got to deliver hams.
Yeah, I miss that.
It's kind of cool, isn't it?
It is really cool. Like I can see a lot of things that your dad did as a community builder that I feel, I would have loved to meet your dad.
So yeah, like for me, there's probably, like I said, there's probably I could put together a list of 50 people pretty quickly of, I really fucking appreciate you've been in my life this year. And like you said, it's not necessarily the big, like you're obviously on top of the list as far as impact, but just little things,
Yeah, it's the kind people, isn't it? Like, and I said Lucy was one on my list, and we went out to breakfast the other day, and I go, no, Lucy, you're on my list. But for me, I just went to one of her classes, and She's a body psychotherapist. And I just felt in my body for the first time in a long time. And I really appreciated that place, and then looked at studying, not sure that I want to study again but yeah, it was that feeling of like, no, that was really significant. And it's like when a kid taught me how to tap dance just after my mum died. That was really significant for me. It was Mark's child. And I was like, oh, that sometimes they're not big and not as obvious, but it's important. Yeah. So that's a question about cards. But the next one's about gifts.
Oh.
Yeah. Making this up. When we were sitting down at, I think, Hastings Point, and we were talking about this podcast, and we just said, no, that your podcast is going to be like, we want it to feel like a gift to you and to the person.
Yeah.
So what gifts do you think came out of your podcast this year?
Ooh.
You're not the only one that can ask questions.
And she hasn't got her phone looking at ChatGPT
No.
here either.
ChatGPT wanted to know really weird stuff about us.
What gifts has this podcast given this year? That's the question, isn't it? Can I start with me first?
Yeah, you can.
It's given me the gift of imperfection.
Ooh.
Oh, it makes me feel a bit teary. And it makes me teary because, like, I think I push so hard to try and be right or get it right or be right or look right or have it together. So this podcast, and I worked it out the other day, it's been like nearly over a year now. Like, it's been, I think this is episode like 40 or 41 or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's given me permission to be me. And part of that is the imperfect me that fucks up the audio every now and again and, loses a recording or swears a bit too much but yeah, so that's probably the real gift it's given me. And I think in a kind of meta sense, it's filtered out into other parts of my life. And because this had the structure of like no structure, it meant I had permission to just freestyle. I didn't have to tick a box and sort the things out. Yeah, so I appreciate that experience because, even just getting back on social media recently, it's imperfect and it's clunky and it's got spelling mistakes, and I don't care. This is the best that I could do that day.
And I think that was a big learning curve too. Is like, I'm not going to put my face on there. And next minute's like, actually, once you get down that barrier and you're like, I actually don't care that much.
Yeah, and I don't know whether we can come back to that because there's a bit in that, but
we can come back.
Yeah.
Let's go back, keep with the gift of the podcast.
So I think what I noticed in others, and in varying ways, I think recording the podcast and getting asked questions you don't normally get asked and having that go out, even to your little circle of friends and family and people that follow you on social media, I think it fostered new connection because people who listened heard different parts of the people they already know. And, that comes with some anxiety at the start of like, fuck, what am I going to say? And how am I going to be judged? And all of that stuff, which is real. But I think the feedback that I've got from people is like, people that I've known for a long time are learning new parts of me. And there's a little expression that it's okay to let that part out. And that feels a bit fucking cool.
Well, you've had a few blasts from the past from this podcast.
Yeah.
Like high school.
Yeah. Yeah. And like even just like reconnecting with high school mates like Pendo, who I'm trying to get on here. I got a message from him during the week, just opening doors. I got a call last week from another guy down circuit who I haven't spoken to in 30 years, but just so it's been a connector for other people, but it's been a connector for me too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we think we know when we make a decision to start something what the outcome will be, but we do not know. And I think, I trust in God and the universe in that it'll play out when you're brave, and any action that's taken from courage will be rewarded. And I can see the reward come in, and I can see the frustration as well. But the last one that you did with Beck, my bestie, I was really emotional about. I was a bit jealous because I think I was sick in bed, and that you guys just chatting in there, because Beck and I don't even get that much time to chat. But the gift for her was to share a story. Like, we should have a massive year, and even listen to the last 20 minutes of that. It's like, wow, that was massive. But for her to have a platform to share it, because it wasn't really a secret, but it was more like, wow, this happened, Go to ancestry.com and your life can change.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a gift to have a safe place to share that stuff. And just to watch two people that I really love just communicate and have a conversation about it.
Well, let me spin it round to you then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is your 4th time you've been on here, I think.
Is it?
Yeah. What has this podcast given you? What gifts have you got from being on here?
I guess I've lost a lot of my identity since I left Melbourne. And it's really nice to realize I've still got something to say. And it just helps me connect to the people I really cared about in the past.
Mm-hmm.
In my business, some of my patients I've been adjusting for nearly 20 years. And so it's just nice when some random person listens and was just happy that I'm doing well.
Mm-hmm.
I think when bit of COVID drama and mum passing and leaving, falling in love with this man that I met on Instagram and just leaving kind of left this big hole of wonder for people.
Yep.
So it was kind of the easiest way for me to say, hi, yeah, I left and I'm happy and I'm not sure what I'm doing and sorry I didn't say goodbye. So that was kind of it gave me a good way of, expressing to everyone what happened.
Like a little bit of closure?
Yeah, a little bit of closure. A lot of people didn't know that my mum had died and that why I had left, and also that I was okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people delighted that I met you, and yeah. So yeah, that was really good for me. I like that. Yeah. And so is this your last podcast for the year, do you think?
Probably not. I don't know.
Okay. Well, that was more for me trying to work out what's happening this year. But no, my next question is where do you see the evolution next year for this podcast? How do you see it changing?
It's a good question. I kind of worked out pretty quickly that my prerequisite for guests was just people that I like and people that I are in my circle in some capacity. Like, I come across them and we have some sort of ground together. But I think I've learned a lot about difference this year in my study and about being with difference. And I think I'd like to open it up to more difference next year. And I don't really know what that looks like, but this year I've played it pretty safe with guests of if they fall into my lap in regards to I'm talking to someone and I feel like a conversation we're having would be good on a podcast, I just say, do you want to come on the podcast? I don't have a guest list or and that's felt a bit safe and a bit comfortable and a bit necessary because I was still finding my feet this year. with this and not even knowing what it is and what it's not, and yeah. So I think I'd like to. My feet feel a bit more on the ground at the moment with this podcast, and um, I don't know what that looks like, and I think that's part of the enjoyment.
Well,
But
that's
I know
yeah.
I'd like to spread it a bit wider than I have been this year.
But as we move into 2026, we've mapped out what next year looks like, and there's already a lot on. You're in your study. We're going to be running our Making Space program again in Melbourne, which is 4 kind of weekends a year, because we loved the group last year or this year.
And going away to therapy camp, there's a lot of groups.
Yeah.
And we had to run a group as an assessment, and I just fucking love it. So I've come back, and like we sorted out our dates, most of them for next year, around study and Melbourne and Finn and our work, and then there's a part of me that's like, I really want to run a group locally above and beyond the men's circle. So yeah, there's still a little bit of energy in that, and I'm just holding off on working out what that. I know what it looks like, but whether or not I move ahead with it, just want to check in with capacity at the start of the year.
Yeah, I guess with the more space we make to work out what we want, which is the whole idea of making space, was just to actually make space to feel into your life. But then there's the reality of, on Sunday we had a whole day to ourselves, and we're like, we're not going to talk to anybody, and that's equally
fucking brilliant,
amazing. And we ran out of milk. I'm like, don't talk to the lady at the shop, just go and get some milk, because we both, I don't know about you, but I'm an introverted extrovert. I need time alone too.
Yeah, I just come back from therapy camp, and we did between 4 and 5 group sessions a day, and I loved it, and I was cooked. But yeah, it's funny because it's like in the past, part of burnout for me was like not keeping in check how sustainable this is, and just going, I'll fucking just work harder, it'll be fine. And I'm really cautious of not letting that part of me take over.
I noticed your post today on burnout.
Yes, Joanne.
I think Rocky got all the attention actually, because he looks like he's spotting Rick. But I was curious, do you think you had elements of burnout this year? Early signs?
Yeah, I think mid-year when I hit that little flat spot and got pretty, like, maybe it's the grey area between feeling flat and being depressed. So yeah, there was some signs that things weren't heading in a great direction.
And how did you turn that around?
Ownership. Having the courage to say to you, I feel really flat and I don't know what to do. Having a therapist. That's not a shameless plug. That's just reality of being able to take some big stuff to someone who's not us, not you and I, to work on it and get a perspective. And but yeah, I think the biggest thing was sharing it, and not publicly, but just, and then I think, I've had in the past, I've had a history of depression, so there's a real edge for me to share that because I don't want that part of me to come back. And I've learnt so much about acceptance in the last 2 years. And that for me was where the rubber met the road of like, can I accept this this part of me right now? And the answer was yes. And because of that, I'm like, this is how I feel. And I realized that that's okay. And that meant that I didn't have to hide it, defend it, push it away, pretend I was fine. Just like, I'm fucked.
Yeah, and I think, sorry, the lesson that I see in this, and I did think about your post today. I always thought burnout was literally running too fast and carrying too many things, working like 6, 7 days a week and having things on top of it. I thought that's why I burnt out.
Like overcommitment.
Yep. But what I've learned from witnessing you and sharing and then reflecting on my own self and my burnout is when we're living a life, I'm living a life, but my soul is not heard. That's the point of burnout. And so when I look at that stage for you too, you weren't doing 7 days a week training, running 10 classes a day, like that. It looked very different to how I imagine you burning out years ago. And so I think burnout, it's okay to see it as a soul alignment rather, because otherwise I'm like, why have I been so tired? I've barely worked the last month, but my soul had been like, there's something missing. And talking to me as in, there's, one of the women in our group on our final kind of debrief, like posed all these questions for the next year, and her burnout doesn't look like burnout, but it's like, these questions are niggling at me.
Yeah.
And I think that's what adult burnout looks like. It's like just in the wrong bloody lane.
Yeah, the ladder up against the wrong building.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that's a pretty seismic part of it. And then I think that other part, which I'm slowly working on, is just that the ability to share it. And yeah, I just think they both have a really big...
I definitely don't panic when you share it. I was like, good, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I do wish you would wash my car every week or something. I think that would help with your stability. And
it's not going to happen.
I want a car wash in Merbah.
Should we share that, our secret dream?
Oh my God, which one?
When we get a bit over humans, because we spend a lot of time with humans, and it's only normal to be like, fuck, I've had enough.
Yeah, we don't want to talk to people anymore.
Yeah. We have this business fantasy of starting a car wash in Mooloolaba.
I love vacuuming my car, and there's nowhere in Murwillumbah that you can vacuum your car.
Yeah.
Melbourne, it's everywhere. And even up in Gladstone where I was working, they were everywhere. And I'm like, this is great. And so we do wonder what it would be like just to have a business where you didn't talk to everyone and they just put their coins in and wash their car and they're happy and they go about their life. And ChatGPT has done all the numbers for us. And so if anyone wants to sponsor us.
I think it's part of us getting back into our game again. Like 90% of the time we are there. And then 10% of the time we're like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, well, there's contrast, isn't there? Like we cook really well, but when we got takeout the other night for the first time in a long time, it's like, because we live in nowhere, there's no Uber Eats. I was like, oh, this is cool, but it wasn't as good as what we cooked. But we need that contrast.
Yeah.
And the more, do you know what? I think both of us are used to being, I can't speak for you, stressed, burnt out, not supported, and missing something. And now that we are not as stressed, not as burnt out, definitely feel supported and maybe even loved. It's a weird feeling.
Yeah.
It's really weird this year.
Yep.
Thanks for being weird with me.
It's my favourite job. Yeah, and it also makes me think about like sitting in circle every week. Like I get to show up there as I am. No.
What was one of the things that surprised you about Circle this year, men's Circle? Like pleasantly surprised you?
Yeah. I think I've got a newfound appreciation for the joy of watching people sort out their own shit.
Mm.
And I don't mean that in a harsh way. Just like we were sharing on Monday night and one of our guys, Tim, said something. And I was just like, it was really fucking poignant for the path that he'd been on. And it was wise. And it was just like, motherfucker, look at you go.
Yeah.
You know? And it happened a lot at therapy camp too, because we've spent 2 years together with that crew. And it was just the feeling of we don't need to frack or fix everyone for them to find their way. Like, I really love road testing that, you know, the support without taking over. And I think the other side of that is this feeling of joy when someone fucking stands up and does their thing in a new way against an old pattern. And it's just like, so I think to answer your question, yeah, it's watching men find their way. You know, and we've just had a couple of new guys join Circle, and it gives perspective to me and the other men there that, you know, we've been working on this for a little while now.
Yep.
And we've been benefiting from the opportunity to share what's going on for us on the weekly, and in an environment that doesn't involve any fixing or advice unless we ask for it. And just that in itself, regardless of what the content is kind of powerful. You know?
Even showing up every week is massive.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I've probably taken from that in regards to our women's circle.
Oh, yeah? Tell me. We had 9 women and Rick in our circle.
For our group
Our
down in
group.
Melbourne.
It's not really a circle, is it?
And yeah. And I think it probably took 6 months for most of the group to realise that I was not scary and okay. And once we got past that, yeah, I think I got a lot. The highlight of my year in that group was our final day together. And for context, we set them the task of sharing a 15-minute story to the rest of the group about a part of their life where they were challenged, and just to share the challenge and what they learned on the other side, kind of thing. And we built to this over the year, like we'd built ground and safety and all that stuff. And we didn't know what was going to happen, and everyone was pretty fucking anxious about it. And
these women can talk.
And they can talk. But they don't like talking about their big stuff sometimes, and that's okay. But you know, I think we spoke on Monday about like when have you felt most alive in one day, and I you know, like the emotional wheel that shows all the different intricacies of the different emotions. I felt like I touched on all of them in one day in that group, and it was the epitome of humaning. And it was a pleasure to be a part of and a gift to be present for. And just to watch the impact of each of them on each of them, whether you're listening or speaking, was really powerful. And I think so that what I got from that group was the gift of sharing your story, you know.
And I'd listen to that podcast, talk to Mindy, the one that always goes on about menopause and fasting. Probably not on your feed.
Not on my playlist, no.
Yeah, before that we were saying, and I remember driving home like, guess what? This podcast was all about when we share a story, we are both experiencing a higher level of oxytocin. So the more we share a story, the person sharing and the person receiving and listening is getting that oxytocin. And we don't get that the same when we're just binge watching something. So it's a story that is shared for you together.
Yep.
like as in listening, that's where the oxytocin, and that's what a lot of, she was saying in menopause, the women are missing, but obviously the men are getting it as well. Because when we binge watch something, we just disconnect from something, which is okay too, right? I'd rather binge watch something than have an addiction of a different kind of escapism. But there was real like love there from just listening to other people's stories.
Yeah.
And I know when I hear Holly and Jack tell me about their day, the little my niece and nephew, I do genuinely get joy out of listening to their stories. And I know they can talk, like loving hearing them. So yeah, when we're listening to a story and it's not listening to someone else's ego and trying to impress us, that's where the joy comes in. And as we approach Christmas, we're having your family here a little bit earlier than Christmas. Our goal is we're not doing turkey, so if any of the family listens, we're just going to try and keep it easy so we can have more conversation.
Yeah. Can share some stories.
Because that's where the love is the shared stories.
Yeah.
Open to gifts too.
It sort of makes me think about circle, because that's essentially what it is. It's like, can we share what's alive right now? And just going back to our Making Space group, like, I think all year, right from the start, we've been attempting to, I don't know about teach is the right word, but model how to listen with our body and how to be present enough to feel what you're listening to and where do you feel it and why do you feel it. But just that point of like resonance of like, if someone's speaking, what impact does that have on us on a felt sense? And I think that's what I got from that Saturday, was just looking around the room and seeing these women be in touch with their body as they were listening, and then share from that. Like, I really felt this part of you as you were speaking. And like we did, I'm going to jump a bit here, but it makes sense because it's just come to me. Part of my assessment up at therapy camp was to do a 1-hour group exercise activity process around spirituality in Gestalt therapy. And I chose the pillar of dialogue, so, relation, speaking. And it's got links here because there's a magic that occurs in between the speaking and the listening. And I think that's what this resonance is.
Yeah.
And that can sound a bit weird for some people, but if we look at what the opposite is, like the opposite's like a transactional exchange. I say this, you respond, how's the weather? Good. Yeah, like that's transactional. But if we're sharing honestly and we're listening with our body and then reflecting back, that's got openness, and it's got space, and that, I think that comes to that oxytocin you were speaking about of there's a felt sense of that conversation compared to the transactional, how's the weather, how's the kids, it's got a different feeling.
And for me, that's like the biggest thing to regulate the nervous system, is to feel it, like feel your nervous system and feel it shift in your environment. And if you're feeling icky from a story, like it's telling you something.
Yeah.
And if you feel peaceful and calm, and as you're sharing one as well, like, is it your truth or is it just your ego saying, is there excitement in your body?
Yeah.
And
it's funny because like when people come on the podcast, some of them ask me like, what do you want from this? Like what's the goal? And there's no goal, but what I like as a prerequisite is like, can you share a story with me that you've never told anyone? I want the real present version of what the answer to the question is, not this is a rerun of an older story of mine,
Oh, I do know. I just love giving Finn stories at tape. Like, Finn, remind me to tell you this story that he's never heard. I think the more we tell the same story, and I think this came up in our Making Space group, when we say the same story over and over again, it becomes true. But there's a layer of our story, like, what's the truth?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even the guy next door is not going to listen to this, but his pool pump has been making a noise. And Rick's like, he just hasn't got enough water in the pool. And I said, oh, would you be annoyed if someone told you that, a neighbor? And he said, yeah, I'd be annoyed. And I'm like, what's the real emotion behind that? You go, oh, I'd be embarrassed. And I think the more we get to like, what is our real emotion? We don't have to share our real emotion with everyone, but the more we listen to it, what the shit that comes out of my mouth, like, is it my truth or is it the truth that's appropriate for the person that's hearing it, or the layers? That's what I like. Because I will tell you, yeah, I'll do the podcast, but my truth will come back. I'm like, no way. I think one of the questions was, what challenge did you overcome? And I'm like, I'm still being challenged.
Yeah.
I don't know if I went around in circles, but yeah, it's when you're listening and you're speaking, that's when your truth can be, authentic truth will be felt in both of your bodies, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think there's a lot in the storytelling aspect this year, both in me sharing and owning parts and in being able to listen and hold and all of the stuff. So yeah, it's been a bit of a focal point for my year.
We bought a house.
And we bought a house.
Well, we moved into our house this year. Yeah, as we reflect on the year, it's been really big.
Yeah. And I was just talking to a client yesterday who he bought a house in Murbar in February, so he's got a similar timeline. And he was saying he's still unpacking boxes and getting the place settled. And I'm like, yeah, I actually just think the last couple of weeks, our place feels like as done as it's felt.
Yeah.
That takes time.
It takes time because life's still going on and we still had lots of visitors and trips back and forth. So, Rick, it feels like a good time to wrap it up. Yeah. Is there anything else that's been on your heart that you'd love to share?
I realise I just sighed into the microphone, which probably doesn't sound...
You do a bit of breathing just for Bridget, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think just about... And I'm just really conscious, because this is... Yeah, I'm even apprehensive about talking about it. And it's nothing deep and emotional. It's kind of more about owning my work. And what I've noticed this year is that, especially with running bigger groups, my imposter has settled the fuck down.
Thank goodness.
And I kind of liked that he was there because he needed to be, because I was doing something that I hadn't done before. So I don't get all shamey with it, but I'm stoked that part of the thing this year has been feeling like a bit of an imposter at the start of the year in various capacities to varying intensities, to finishing the year just being really content with where I'm at. And I guess what that leads to is like, I just fucking love doing this work. And I really enjoy working with people one-on-one. And I just want to own it. And I want to do more of it.
Well, your gift should feel good.
Yeah.
The logistics around it is sometimes where it drowns us.
So yeah, I've got kind of, like there's the commercial side of it, which makes it feel a bit icky. Knowing that in 2 years I'll be completed my master's and will be a qualified psychotherapist.
What?
Which is more, I've just realised it's more the start of the journey rather than the end of it. But yeah, there's a reality of like having a practice and doing things with that. But what came from therapy camp was like, I'm not that far away. And I think part of the imposter leaving is the other side of that is feeling I know my place in one-on-one work and what it's not and what it is. And I feel like the tour guide or supporting someone rather than leading the tour feels really supportive both for me and for the client to make sure they have they're working out their own path, but just with my support. And that's had a bit of a seismic change on how I show up in session, because I'm not putting pressure on myself that a person has to be at a certain place, and whatever emerges, and I'm learning to trust that a little bit more. So there's a genuine excitement around that for me. And the universe is providing me with more opportunities to do this, and that feels good. But yeah, I just want to own that. I want to do more of that work. And I think part of that is realizing who I love working with and actually owning that. And this last couple of months has been a lot about that, and working out that I love working with people who are in like a midlife transition or a midlife pivot and have got to where they are now, and there's some dissatisfaction around what's happening in their world, and they want it to look different. And I fucking love that.
We're pretty aligned on that, aren't we?
Yeah. So yeah, it's probably just having the confidence to own what I want and who I want to work with and how I want to do it and what I want, like all of that. And it feels good to just put that out in the world, Yeah. What about you?
What's the question? No.
What's on your
this
heart?
This is my podcast.
Oh, sorry.
No, for me, as we end this, I think there's a lot of people that you have genuinely helped this year just by being a gentle voice of calm and reason. And I realized just meeting you that I was really good at talking and connecting to my clients, but you've got a gift of listening. And I think that has been the biggest gift that you've given a lot of people, to listen to others. And then from there, my hope is others go and listen to their families and friends and what are people really saying. And I think your biggest gift is your ability to ask questions. That's why I was so curious about you. You one of the very first questions before we met, you said, "How's your heart?" And I just questioned you on that because I didn't believe it was a genuine question, but it was a genuine question. And so I'm in your top 6% of followers, according to Spotify. But I just love sharing the journey with you. And when I think about you being out, you're already in practice now, but, with full gestalt behind you, what does practice look like for both of us? Will my burnout be over? Will I be ready to serve in a different way again? And I think that's usually I jump and do things really quickly. Obviously, I moved here 4 months after meeting you. But now I'm really enjoying the slowness that you allow me as we unfold what's next. So thanks for your podcast.
My pleasure.
We might leave it there.
Literally my pleasure. And this is the first time I've been interviewed on my own podcast.
I take over a little bit though, guys.
That's okay. But it's actually good practice because I'm going on a podcast tomorrow. I'm recording a podcast tomorrow, which will be out in January or something. And it's only the second time I've done that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you the private questions later.
Okay. So, thanks for the trial run. And this was felt like a great Joe version of what I had planned.
Can't plan too much.
An upgrade.
All right, babe.
All right, baby. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.